Welcome, everybody. This is the first debut episode of our podcast. I'm here with Joe Knows. Let's go ahead and get started. Say what's up, Joe.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yeah, this is our debut podcast. We've been wanting to work on this a long, long time. We're finally
Couple
able to
months
do
now.
it. Yeah, it's been a while. Let's
It
go ahead and
has.
get to it.
Yeah, so absolutely. So this is really just kind of a get to know us as the host of the podcast. Kind of just wanted to start off by talking about how we were fans. So, Will, how did you become an Atlanta Falcons fan?
Well, I became a Falcons fan in 2012 when they went 13-3. I don't know if you remember personally. We lost to the 49ers. You remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. But that was the first season that I've ever consistently watched the Falcons. And before that, I was an Eagles fan in like 2008 to 2010 when Donovan McNabb was the quarterback. I was obsessed with Donovan McNabb for absolutely no reason at all. Brian Westbrook was my guy. And Madden was like a big influence on the reason I'm a fan. My mom got me Madden for Christmas in like 2008 or something like that. And I was just into Eagles. I had an odd obsession with Eagles. I just loved the crap out of Eagles. The bird animal was like a weird obsession. So like I thought the Eagles logo looked really cool. So I was like, okay, I'm an Eagles fan. And Michael Vick became the quarterback, and like everyone here was like crazy about Michael Vick just because like everything going on. So like
Right.
yeah, and
With him, with
with
him,
him and the dogs.
yeah, dogs, just something. He's really nice to them.
Yeah, so I ended up coming to Falcons fan in 2012, going to my first Falcons game in the Georgia Dome. They played the Raiders, and I
Your
don't.
first game was against the Raiders?
Yeah, it was against the Raiders 2012 week. It was in October, I know that. And Asante Samuel had a pick six, and we ended up beating Carson Palmer and the Raiders. So, and then we
Man,
went
that's
to
a
another
that's a
game.
blast from the past.
Yeah, and we went to another game against the Cardinals. Matt Ryan threw six interceptions that game, and we won. The second
No
game we
way.
went to, we beat the Cardinals, six picks, and we still somehow won, but whatever. But
That's
yeah,
nuts.
how did you become a fan?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic because my dad's from California, right? So he was a huge 49ers fan, like huge.
Hmm.
Um, California boy, and he was all about it in the Joe Montana and Jerry Rice era. So when he moved down to Georgia with my mom, and he just kind of raised me as a Falcons fan because that's where I grew up. So he didn't force anything on me; he just kind of let me pick, and I picked the Falcons just because like that's where I grew up. And I went to like my first game when I was like 5 or 6. It was against the Carolina Panthers, and I
Hmm.
like fell asleep like halfway through the third quarter.
That's
So I
hilarious.
didn't really yeah, I didn't really. We actually had pretty good tickets too, but and then my next game was New Orleans Saints, so both of mine were rivals. And it was a good experience for me. I really enjoyed it as a kid. But yeah, definitely. Needless to say that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones were like those were the guys that got me into the
Hmm.
franchise. It was no one else, and then Roddy White was a really good one for me too. So but then I went through a little brief period during the Seahawks. It's
2013 was it
I think
2013?
everybody's had their bandwagon, yeah, their
Yeah.
bandwagon phases. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say, but I literally still, because my dad was just trying to support what teams I like. I literally have like their like Super Bowl
So
plaque where it's like, oh, the champions, and it's got like all these
yeah.
pictures from the Super Bowl. But
And that's the
yeah, no, I
49ers
was
rival. I have to imagine your dad was a little upset about that.
well, so like that's the thing is my dad moved around so much, so like he wasn't like terribly mad because he was in Seattle for a while. So
Hmm.
when like they got hot and stuff like that, he was on it just as much as me, but he wasn't like a fan of them. He was just like, oh, that's good for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, my probably favorite defensive player of all time is Cam Chancellor. It still is. I
Cam
love Cam
Chancellor, Bam
Chancellor.
Bam.
Bam Bam Cam.
He was a beast.
I when I played football in middle school, my number was 31 after him. So I loved Cam Chancellor.
That's
And then
funny.
evolving to now, I really became more of a basketball fan for after after the Falcons lost in the Super Bowl because I was probably some sort of defense mechanism or something. But
Hmm.
and then slowly I came back to it, and now I'm the biggest fan of football ever, and I have just as much as you. It's just
Yeah.
like at Sundays or NFL Sunday, I'm going to be
It's
locked in
nothing
on
else
every
but
game.
football on
It's
Sunday.
nothing else but football. So football is my life. I'm sure you can say the same. But yeah, that's kind of just how
Hmm.
I became a fan. So
Yep. I wonder how a lot of other people's upbringing or fans are like, because like I don't know, it's just that interests me. I love asking that question to a lot of people.
no, for sure. Because like I said, I feel like almost everybody's had like their bandwagon phase. I feel like today's kids are probably maybe like Chiefs or Bucks bandwagons. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Maybe even Rams if they were able to like string along a couple more,
Yeah.
uh, big playoff appearances. But yeah, so it is probably really funny though because I'm probably spot on that. It's probably about Chiefs and Bucks that are like
Josh
the
Allen, Patrick
kids.
Mahomes.
Yeah,
That's the new
now
Tom
Bills.
Brady and Peyton
I
Manning,
love the
pretty
Bills.
much.
If I had to pick an AFC team that I love the most, it's the Bills. I just love the players on
Yeah,
there.
the
It's
Bills are
not
good.
like, yeah, they're a good team. So, but yeah, let's kind of move on to the next one. What are you what made you like well, let's start with when did you first start making like legit content, and then why did you like what made you want to do that?
Um, well, first starting making legit content was probably 2015, which I've been making videos since 2012. And I have my first video was September 7th, 2012. And then I made like football card videos as like 11-year-old. But legit videos was 2015, 2016. I did a lot of filming too. And there's a thing on YouTube called the TTC, and TTC stands for Trash Talking Circle. And this is probably going to go on my YouTube. So everyone listening to this that was in the TTC, I love you, appreciate you, thank you for influencing me as a fan. And it's a bunch of people gathered in this trash talking circle, the TTC, from different fan bases, just talking mad crap to each other every single week. And it got personal sometimes. And I was just a 15-year-old kid.
How old okay, I was about to say how old were you at this
Dude,
time?
they're grown men going at each other, just pulling up their Facebook accounts, just like this your wife, and like it got personal over football. And
Dude, it
here I
doesn't get
am,
better than that. It's just like gaming, man. Stuff like that happens all the time.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so out of pocket.
Which I always felt like I was kind of left out of that because I was so young. They just kind of would watch my video and be like, "Okay, I'll let this kid pass." But
Right.
and I was like the only kid in the TTC that like made videos. Man, it was crazy. But yeah, that was a big influence on me filming. And then I got into TikTok in 2020 when the Chiefs played the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I had my first big video that got like 400K, I think it's at right now. It was a conspiracy
Damn.
video. That really got me started on that. And then obviously like edits. I love making edit videos. So yeah, I don't know. I actually have an edit video on Roddy White's first, or not first, his last career game or whatever. It was like a goodbye video, see you again video. I don't know if you've seen that because I feel
Mm-mm.
like I have a lot of people that have seen that, but they don't realize I made that. Yeah, that was me. So yeah, what was
There we
yours
go.
like? How'd you get started?
Yeah, well, I'm as new as it gets, honestly. I won't even try to pretend like I have some crazy history. I haven't ever posted a YouTube video. I've never been anything as far as like Instagram or anything like that. I just kind of saw, to be honest with you, there's a guy that, and if you go on my TikTok, I've probably mentioned him a couple times. I've definitely mentioned him to you personally. But there's a guy that I look up to a lot. And I'm not even afraid to say it, but the Goat House on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very smart guy, very intelligent. And I came across one of his YouTube videos one day, and ever since then, I've just been like a huge supporter. But my point is that like I saw him doing the stuff that he was doing, and it made me like since I felt like I was pretty like knowledgeable about football, it was like, well, why can't I do it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like came across my head, but I was like, I don't know if I have like enough for YouTube quite yet. So I just ended up making a TikTok account, and then when I was on TikTok, I ended up seeing like a lot of like sports edits. So that's kind of how I got introduced. So just like you, I really started out like if you go on my TikTok and you scroll down, I think I'm just now overtaking the amount of edits that I originally posted with like my personal content.
Mm-hmm.
But all I did was edits, and that's how I think I got like my first like 800 followers or something like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there on, I was making my own content. But yeah, no, I just saw I really like NFL and I love talking about it. And so I just saw what other people were doing. It's something I was passionate about. So I was like, why
Yeah,
can't I do it? So I made it happen.
that was exactly my thought process. I would see people make videos, and I'd be like, "I can do this crap," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'd just do it. So,
Yeah. 100%. Okay. So this one might be a little bit of a, this is good. What has been your best prediction and what has been your worst prediction?
I've got a lot of bad takes, and I feel like I have too many bad takes to even say one good take.
You have to though. For somebody who speaks on sports so much, 99% of the time you're not going to hit on them.
Yeah, I'll start out with the worst ones and get them out the way. I was really, really wrong and a little harsh to Saints fans in 2017, and I said they were gonna be awful for years and years to come.
You guys are. This is the only time you will hear this. He's being
Yeah,
humble about
you'll
the
never
Saints.
hear this again.
Only time. It's the only time you'll hear this.
Yeah, and then they won 4 straight, 3 straight division titles. So, I'll admit I was wrong on that, but they suck now, so that's all that matters. They're never gonna win it again. So
Right.
and then another bad one, I think, was this past offseason with Deshaun Watson. I was pushing so hard to get him, and boy, thank God, I am freaking glad we didn't. We would be regretting that. But yeah,
Very
those are
much so.
and then a good take. I guess a good take of mine I had is the reason I blew up on TikTok was the Chiefs and 49ers Super Bowl, and, it was the conspiracy video about Andy Reid, and there was, like, a picture. I don't know, you guys would have to go look at it, but I ended up saying Andy Reid was gonna win, surefire thing. He ended up winning. So I guess that's one of the best takes I've had documented. And then another good take was in 2018. I really wanted the Browns to take Baker Mayfield first overall pick. And at the time, that was kind of like Baker Mayfield, take Sam Darnold or like someone like that, Josh Rosen. And they took Baker Mayfield. He changed the culture there. He's not there now. He wasn't a the franchise guy going to throw for 5,000 yards a season, but if you ask any Browns fan, he changed the culture there. So
No,
I'll
one
take
hundred
pride in
percent.
that.
Yeah. No, not even trying to jump onto something, but honestly, and he's not in any way, shape, or form some high caliber quarterback, but Baker Mayfield gets way too much hate for what he did for the Browns. I mean, people don't
Mhm.
realize he was very close to be like, I think that if he beat the Chiefs in that playoff game just a couple years back, then we're looking at a whole different story. I really do think
And I
so.
feel like he's hit his peak by now. I don't think he's gonna get any better than he has
Yeah,
been, but he was pretty dang good.
it's
And
gone downhill from here
yeah, but yeah, I'll take pride in that take.
for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, worst one for me is actually a somewhat recent one, and it is about Baker Mayfield. I made a video when the Panthers traded for Baker. Um, and I mean, I figured, well, there's two that I was wrong about a lot about Baker. One, I said that he's going to get traded to the Seahawks and not the Panthers. Those were like the two that were in the run for him.
Mhm.
Um, I just thought that with like Pete Carroll and stuff like that, he could kind of maybe try to fix him up. They could get him for cheap. Um, but the best like mess up that I've had was that I said that Baker would, when he got traded to the Panthers, I said that he would do not be surprised if they make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was high on him on the Panthers too.
Safe to say, safe to say, they are not making the playoffs this year. Just making this after the CMC trade. They're definitely sellers. They definitely will be in a bad position for at least a couple seasons. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, no, I that was pretty brutal. But some of my best, and I mean, again, with the Deshaun Watson thing too, I think every Falcons fan was kind of advocating for that at the time.
Yeah,
Thank God that didn't happen. Obviously,
exactly, yeah.
way too much, but that would have been a bad one too. But some of my best was that I kind of predicted that James Bradbury would go to the Eagles. The main one that I kind of pride myself on though was that it was one of my first videos ever, and it was like mid season when Trubisky was still in the Bills. and I said that the Steelers should pick him up. And I think that he will go to the Steelers in the offseason, and that is exactly what happened. I had no indication, I had no tweets, anything about that. I just felt like he'd be a good fit for them, and he did. But the main thing that I pride myself on, I guess I at least I hit out 1 out of 3 with the Baker Mayfield predictions. But Baker really, I said that he'd be traded for a 5th or 6th round pick, and people were telling me I was crazy because, oh, he's a 1st round pick, he's the 1st overall. But I just told them when there's not a big a bunch of teams wanting to go after him, and the Browns kind of closing in on needing to trade him, that his value is going to be way less than what it should be. And I said a 5th or 6th round pick. And if you go to that video, there's so much crap in the comments. I got like probably 30 comments of people just being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Joe doesn't know NFL, like just like all sorts of bullshit like that. But I was right. So
yeah. And then, I feel like we're kind of stuck in our ways on a lot of points, and and people don't like that. So sometimes we get criticized for it, and people are sensitive on sports. So we kind of have to just shove that to the side and ignore it. But what are a couple of things you would like die on a hill for, and no matter what it takes, you're gonna defend this take till the day you die?
Okay, well, one is the current season one, like kind of where we stand right now. There's been a lot of people saying that the Falcons should be like 5-1 and stuff like that. My kind of take on that is that it's correct, but only for the sole reason that the Falcons would be 5-1 if they got Kyle Pitts more involved. I think literally adding that one specific thing, like we've had way too many. I mean, that's the thing that people say too, like, oh, well, Arthur Smith's trying, but the defense is just doing like a really good job. Like, no, like, look, there are so many dominant players just like Kyle Pitts in the league. There's designed plays meant to get the player open, to get the player the ball, whether it's a 2-yard pass. There's things for that.
He's baby Julio. So I feel like if we got him the targets that Julio got, he could be just as good. I know he's a tight end.
100%.
But if he just, I don't know how, but he could do what Julio did. He's 100% athletic. He's fast.
Absolutely.
I don't know what we're doing wrong with him.
Yeah, well, I do. We're not getting him involved. It's my thing is that
we also don't have the quarterback and the necessities to do that. But I think
I know. If there's one thing that I'm fixed on is just how much it drives me nuts how many people think that Mariota is just some phenomenal quarterback. He's had some great performances and some great plays, but all in all, his stats don't even match up that well, and his gameplay for sure doesn't. But my whole thing with Kyle Pitts is that I think that if you get him more involved, then those are winnable games. I think we score a lot more. But yeah, that's kind of something that I'm just I really kind of want to rip our team for, is that I think that if we got them more involved, like I said, there's design plays. There's reasons why even when they're getting double teamed, guys like Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, they still make big plays. I don't see how a tight end who's facing mostly linebackers and safeties aren't making those big plays. So yeah, that's kind of one that I'm fixed on. What about you? What's one of your main ones?
Well, obviously the Falcons own the Saints, and no matter what happens, I will die on this hill. We own the all-time record. We're about to win the next 10 straight. I know we lost week 1, but
you think we're beating the Bills? Wait, are you saying against the Saints or our next? You're saying against the Saints.
Oh, we're beating the Saints for the next 10 matchups straight.
Oh, I thought you were saying we're winning the next 10 games. I was like,
oh, no. We're gonna lose. We're probably gonna lose this Sunday, but we're beating the Saints for the next foreseeable future, and it's not even gonna be close. So I'll die on that hill. Falcons on the Saints, much better organization. And just everything, we're just better. Like, we're just superior to them. And I'm not being biased on that. That's just true. If I wouldn't die on the hill if it wasn't true. So,
right. I feel like a good chunk of like your percentage of your personality known from TikTok. I feel like if I mention your name to like a stranger, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know him. He's the guy who hates the Saints, right?"
Yeah,
I feel like that's like the main thing that people would know you for.
Can't stand it.
But yeah, I mean, kind of bouncing back. one that I felt like really strongly about for probably a couple of years now. And so many people disagree with me on this, and it makes me really upset. I don't think people know what like a true route running wide receiver looks like. And the fact is that it's Stephon Diggs.
Stephon
Like
Diggs is a great
Stephon Diggs is
receiver.
the best route runner in the entire NFL. That's something that I'm headstrong on. And the reason being, and actually, people say Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams doesn't even come number 2 or number 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason being is Devontae Adams is great at using his body to get like separation, like with meaning like his hands, his feet, his head, like with like fakes and stuff like that. But like a true route runner is someone who's so crafty with the route that they lose guys not only in man coverage but in zone coverage too. And that's a guy like Stephon Diggs. I mean, you can look up so many videos of him just like running the most crisp routes. He's lost Marshawn Lattimore twice with the same route in the same
And
game.
I remember that Marshawn Lattimore play on Thanksgiving, but I feel
Yeah.
like was it Chad Ochocinco made a Twitter video watching his routes and he was like crying in the background? Do you
What?
Yeah, I think there's a video of Chad Johnson literally having tears in his eyes from watching Stephon Diggs run routes. I
Like
feel
like
like
it was like
that's
so
true.
beautiful kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, I love it so much, something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
funny, but
no.
yeah, that's true.
No, Stephon Diggs is the best route runner in the NFL, and I get ripped for it all the time. I've made that take before, but I love Devontae Adams. I think at least a year ago, I think he was the best wide receiver in the entire NFL. I don't even think that Cooper Kupp was. I know he had a phenomenal season. I just don't think that the stats prove how dominant of a wide receiver you can be all the time. But as a specific like subject of a route runner, Stephon Diggs is the best, and I will die on the hill 100%. So
Yeah. And another one for me, another player who kind of maybe goes under the radar a little bit. Stephon Diggs is not under the radar a whole lot.
definitely not,
Matt
especially not
Ryan,
this year.
yeah, Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer, and people kind of just like, oh, Matt Ryan never won a Super Bowl. He's got the stats, and he's been elite pretty much his entire career. And I know he's older, but you saw what he just did last week with the Colts. You know, put up big numbers. He's a Hall of Fame guy, and I've defended him for the past 10 years. This is the first year I've kind of just took a break on it. But yeah, that's my guy, and I will forever die on the Matt Ryan Hall of Fame hill, no matter what, because
I'm
that
with
will
you on that
forever
one.
be my guy. I'm gonna be telling my kids one day, they're like Matt Ryan, he was him. And I
Yeah,
don't say that lightly. He was that guy. He was the MVP, and it wasn't a fluke MVP either, because
no, not
he,
at
he,
all.
he was
That was a
gifted.
dominant offense
Oh yeah, it was greatest show on turf. He was
for
top five
sure.
offense of all time,
Yeah, for
probably.
sure. And I'm with you there. I'm the same way with him and Julio. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that the Super Bowl does determine a lot. I won't even pretend like it doesn't.
Hmm.
But there's been plenty of Hall of Famers who've made the Super Bowl or haven't and still make
Yeah,
it,
I mean, I feel
just
like
based off of their accolades.
he's this generation's Dan Marino. I feel like
Yeah,
maybe a little bit. Dan
gotcha.
Marino never got a Super Bowl. The stats are there, and he was just good. Defense,
Yeah,
he never had the defense though, unfortunately.
never. Not even in the Super Bowl year, really. Like we were just good enough for sure, but not not anything crazy.
Oh yeah.
But kind of going into my last thing, we kind of both picked out three things here, I think. But
Mhm.
I'm and it's weird because it's a rival, so I don't like talking like at least crazy like highly of another rival player. But DJ Moore, and I mean I've heard a couple people have this take, but I just really agree with it. Um, DJ Moore would be a top 15 wide receiver if he had even a above good quarterback.
Mhm.
Um, there has been a solid quarterback um in Panthers history for a while. Not since Cam Newton was actually good. So
Mhm.
it's
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 been
been a
since
while.
2017 they've had a good quarterback. That was his last good year of quarterback play.
It might have even been the year before. Was it? I don't even know if it was 2017. I think
He
that's when he
they made
started.
the playoffs in 2017, and he put up good numbers, I think. That was last year. Then his shoulder got tore up by T.J. Watt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think he'd be a top. Like, yeah, I want to say top 10. I feel like that might be a little bit of a reach because top 10 is quite the accolade, but top 15 for sure.
Yeah, throw him on the Chiefs, and he's going crazy.
100%. Throw him on the Chiefs. Throw him on the Packers with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my gosh, dude! Someone needs to go out and get him.
I think that, like, you know how they're selling right now. I would 100. If I was the Packers, I'd 100% trade my first round pick for DJ Moore.
They need to.
I think it saves their season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, imagine having a guy like Aaron Rodgers, definitely Hall of Famer, all time great. One of the most, like, he makes it look so easy. It's ridiculous. He like, he's so old, and he still just balls out. So Aaron Rodgers with DJ Moore, that experience with that athleticism, be crazy. I don't like the Packers at all, and I kind of almost wish for that because they're just how entertaining it would be. Mm-hmm. So, but
yeah, I agree with that take. DJ Moore's a good player. Sucks that he's on the Panthers. Panthers suck. But my last take here, the last hill that I will die on is how do I put this? I feel like this is a good way to determine a person's viewpoints on life. You know, if I ever had a daughter and she brings home a boy, I'm going to ask him 2 questions. One of them is, do you put the shopping cart up whenever you're at a grocery store after you unload the groceries? If he says yes, I'm going to be like, shake his hand. All right, welcome. Well, let me finish the second question. The second question is, who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? And if he's like, LeBron James, and then I'm really going to dap him up. Right, welcome to the family. You good. And I will die on this hill forever. LeBron James, better than Michael Jordan. Championships aren't there, but I'm looking one-on-one. You put Michael Jordan versus LeBron. LeBron's taking him all day, one-on-one. Game 2.
You're crazy.
He's killing him. He's too big. So
you're crazy.
Yeah, you're an MJ guy. I don't
100%. Well, my problem is like I don't even know if I probably disagree with you. I think it wouldn't be as easy as people say, like, in the sense of what you're saying. But for me, it's more of like, I can't stand when they call LeBron James the GOAT.
Well, like, to me, I don't think there's any NBA player that is better than LeBron that I've ever seen in my life. And I know for a fact that he's better than MJ, at least.
No. You don't win 3 championships in a row. Go to a different professional sport, come back and win 3 championships in a row by accident, whether he had a good surrounding cast or not. I know that's always your argument, but
let me ask you this: what would the score be if they played one-on-one?
Like what does the score go to?
To 11 or 12.
11. I think like LeBron beats him like by like 2 or 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but
greatest basketball player of all time.
You don't win 6 championships by mistake. You do not win 6 championships by mistake.
Yeah, because you got a great team, and he's a good player. Michael Jordan's up there. I don't hate on Michael Jordan like this. I know LeBron's the best
so player. Who's second place?
Either MJ or Kobe.
No, not either. Who's second place?
In either MJ or Kobe. I feel like it's 2A and 2B. But if I had to pick, I'll go MJ. Sorry, Kobe.
Yeah. No, I love Kobe. Kobe's like one of my favorite players of all time. But and I don't have anything for Michael Jordan. Like, I'm not like I actually think he's honestly kind of like, excuse my language, but I kind of think he's like a dick. So
Michael Jordan's like a fucking asshole, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the documentaries, but he is not.
Yeah, dude. But that's kind of why he's a different breed. So I respect him on the level of just being that good of an athlete. But I don't have anything for him. I just think he's the greatest of all time. So
yeah.
But okay, well, let's kind of wrap this up. What is your hot take for this season? Like this season, like if you like going from right now what we know, what is like just something that you think is in like let's be realistic too. Let's not even go like
this is
crazy.
Yeah. I got
like hot take, but realistic.
Yeah, I feel like they're both hot takes and they're both realistic. They're both in the NFC East. There's 2 of them I got.
Oh god.
One is the Giants. I think they're sitting at what, 5-1 right now,
Yep,
something like that.
5-1.
I think they missed the playoffs entirely. They don't make the playoffs. They got a head start, but they missed the playoffs. It kind of reminds me of like in 2015 when the Falcons started out 5-0, missed playoffs. I could see that with this Giants team. They've had a couple of easy opponents, other than Packers. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
And then another one is I think the Eagles win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. And I don't think
Okay. I don't think that's crazy.
that's
I'm
not
kind of with you.
crazy, but they're rolling, and I don't see anyone that's going to stop them. I mean,
I know.
the Bucks, maybe the NFC is so wide open. I don't think there's a chance.
I would honestly have a couple teams that I think would probably win. Like if you ask me like if I had like NFC, like there's a couple teams that I think could stop them for sure, other than the Bucks. Like I think the Bucks will make the playoffs. I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they'll probably get past round one. Honestly, they're just not the same team, and Tom Brady is not on a level.
I have a weird gut feeling, and I feel like this one's gonna bang out. I feel like this is gonna be a tape we're gonna look back on. I have a weird gut feeling the Falcons are gonna play the Bucks 3 times this year, and they're gonna play the
Really?
playoffs in the wild card. I have a weird feeling that's gonna happen. We're gonna be the 8th, 7th seed. Will be the 7th seed, I guess. Something, and we're gonna play in Tampa versus the Bucks. I don't know. That's a weird, just gut feeling I got in my stomach. But
I got you, dude. Those gut feelings are the best ones to go with. There's been so many times where,
Mhm.
like, literally, and I'm not even just saying this. I swear on my life, I'm not just saying this. Literally, on my Christian McCaffrey trade video that I posted on TikTok, I was like, what teams could this guy go for? And so I think I listed three. I think it was the Rams, Texans, and Bills. But like one that I was like, just like out of nowhere, gut feeling, I was like 49ers,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Swear on my life. And I didn't put them. I was like, nah, he's not
Dang,
going
you
to get
should
traded
have.
to 49ers. But I could have I could have cashed out on that one. That could have been one of my best predictions. But yeah, no. But
Well,
yeah, no, the gut feelings, I trust gut feelings.
yeah, we got 5 minutes left, so go ahead and give me yours.
Okay, yeah, my kind of two hot takes for the season. One is super simple. I said this last year. I was wrong, but I'm going again with it this year. Bills win it all. Like not Bills go to the Super Bowl lose, not Bills go to the AFC champ. Like Bills win it all. Like
That's
I
a good
don't
one.
care who. I'm not even going to predict who's in the Super Bowl against them, but I think Bills win it all, no doubt in my mind. And then second one is Jahan Dotson wins Rookie of the Year,
Okay.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. So I think that that's like a very
Not Drake
realistic, but
London,
also no, Jahan Dotson.
Chris
He's
Olave.
killing it. He's injured right now, so you might get a little bit behind the A ball, but like, dude, he's been killing it.
Yeah,
He's been killing it.
he's,
So,
he's a good
um,
fantasy asset. If he's out there, go pick up guys.
I told almost everyone around me to draft him, other than the people that I was in league with. I didn't say shit, but I other than that, I told everybody. I told my dad he's been great. He's been great. So, he really does. And I know some people are like, "What are you talking about?" But to me, Jahan Dotson really does remind me of prime Antonio Brown. And I'm not saying that he is at that same level, but his play style, how he's kind of a little bit smaller, but he can still go up and get the ball. Like he reminds me a lot of prime AB. So
Yeah,
without being a head case, of course, but
yeah. Hopefully he doesn't get hit by Vontae Perfect and
yeah,
life changes forever.
yeah, for sure,
We'll see.
for sure. All right, well, does that wrap it up for us?
I think that wraps it up. This is the end of the first ever NFL
First
Classroom
episode.
podcast, and I don't know when I'm going to put it up, but should be soon. Hope you guys enjoyed, and you want to do it next week?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's do it next week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.